6. And I have to say,
the men's double scull in 1992 was won by lightweights, but it wasn't a special event then. Stephen Hawkins and Peter Anthony. But the lightweights were introduced anyway to try and spread the take of nations around the world.
So this is Maros Sloboda and Lukáš Babač of Slovakia on the far side in lane 1. And then representing Austria, this is Juliusz Marecki and Sebastian Sagada. Michaela Taupe, by the way, in the medals again for the women's lightweight singles for Austria earlier in the day. So the confidence boost she got in Linz, she's followed up here. And then Mads Rasmussen and Rasmus Quist, coached by the great Thomas Poulsen, representing Denmark, and Poulsen, one of the great Danish lightweight 4. These are the world champions, and they're in lane number 3. Great Britain, the world champion individually, Zach Purchase, partnered this year by Mark Hunter, and those two men second only to the Danes in Linz. And here are the Olympic champions, Thomas Kucharski and Robert Sich, the Olympic champions, former world champions. They're both now 33 years of age, but still reckoned with. And last year's bronze medalist, complete the lineup closest to you in lane number 6, Fabrice Moreau, and sitting in the stroke seat, Frédéric Dufour, representing, of course, France. So quality field here. Kucharski and Seats for Poland. Well, coming back into lightweight action. They've been operating a little bit outside the permitted bodyweight range, but now we'll see perhaps an idea of just how good they are. Remember, Olympic champions in Sydney and again in Athens, and world champions in 97 and 98.
Good clean start by everybody. French off very quickly. There's Rasmus Quist closest to the camera with Mads Rasmussen, and consummate winners in Linz a couple of weeks ago. That's why they're wearing the yellow shirts underneath their Denmark shirts. And with the exception of lane 1, with Slovakia, Sloboda and Babač off very, very fast indeed, it is Denmark who look like leading the echelon. And the winners of the other semi-final, Zach Purchase and Mark Hunter, the newish British double, close to Denmark, and at the moment, nevertheless, down on Poland, Kucharski and Sich. Very quality, high quality field, as you point out, David, and both a mixture of new doubles like Great Britain and old doubles like Poland. Lots to learn.
Yeah, Hugh, you were talking about Rasmus Quist and Mads Rasmussen. I mean, in the nicest possible way, the odd couple.
Certainly. I mean, they are as disparate. I've never seen a double with people who are, when static, as disparate. Rasmus Quist, knee-high to a grasshopper would be impolite, but he's on that scale. Mads Rasmussen, tall, rangy, completely different, yet in a double, in motion, they are poetry in motion. They've learned over years, I have to say, it's taken them a long time, but they've learned to come together to scull absolutely perfectly. They spent paying their dues a season or two down in the B final, and then gradually worked their way up to the World Championship slot that they're in now. You can see the difference in size there. That's not camera angle. That's because one chap is about a foot shorter than the other. But they move perfectly together, and they are now pegging back Slovakia over in lane 1 and being chased by Zach Purchase and Mark Hunter from Great Britain in lane 2.
Now, Zach Purchase is a 21-year-old young man in a hurry. He wants to win very quickly because he had this fantastic performance in Eton in front of his home crowd last year, winning the individual lightweight single sculls. But you sense with Zach that he wants to be the number 1 as quickly as possible. But with the likes of Rasmus Quist and Mads Rasmussen, that ain't going to be easy.
No, they've got their work cut out, but they've got the first bit of compatibility is with Hunter and Purchase, and now they've got to spend some time together and develop the kind of togetherness which we find in this Danish double scull. Yesterday, the French double of Moreau and Dufour, which is respectable now in lane 6 and slipping back. Yesterday, their coach was shouting at them, Ne pas laisser partir les Anglais. Don't let the English get away from you. So they were the marked crew in their semi-final, but they're slipping a long way back on Denmark at the moment, and it's with Slovakia that they have trouble as they come to 1,000 metres.
And that is a superb first half there. Great Britain in second place, Slovakia third, and then the Olympic champions, Austria and the French, I'm afraid, in sixth place. But these two are very special, and I have to say we've got another very special returnee, haven't we, in Eskil Ebbesen in the stroke seat of the Danish lightweight four as well.
They're not quite so confirmed in their partnership as this double scull. There's Mark Hunter closest to camera, Zach Purchase in the bow seat, both wearing dark glasses, looking over their shoulders to see where Denmark are. Hunter, a journeyman lightweight in the British four, in doubles, in singles, around the place for years. Then Purchase gets together in the double, and they're really enjoying it.
But that really shows the perspective and the distance between the leaders and the chasers there.
It'll be interesting to see if Rasmus Quist lets them come back at all in the last 500.
The Italians are the other nation that we need to factor into our thinking, maybe for Lucerne. But I mean, it's going to take.
That's history. So
it's going to take one hell of a crew to lower the colours of these two Danish lightweight scullers. And Kucharski and Seitz, I guess, really, Hugh, they've got their own plan build up towards the World Championships. Nothing really much matters for them until then. At that point,
they've got Anno Domini to overcome, as well as the other crews. They're back together again, but it's not convincing. They haven't got the sharpness and the acceleration of fast twitch fibre that they had. There they are in picture, doing it nicely together, but it's work. It wasn't work. And in their pomp, it wasn't work. It looked just wonderfully.
I mean, they're giving the best part of 10 years away to the Danes, who are entering their prime, when, not being unkind, the Polish have been absolutely fantastic on the big occasions, are probably just going into the twilight zone.
The Poles were already rowing. They weren't world champions, but were already rowing and sculling before Zach Purchase was born.
Well, we talked about the Chinese a little earlier, Hugh. I mean, despite their difference in physical stature, why, for you, what do you pick out from the Danes when we see them that makes them so effective?
It looks, obviously there's very, very good coaching, very specific coaching, but it looks like miles and miles done together. They look to me like they've not been using Bogsville or the lakes. They've been somewhere out on some long river, or the sea even, just getting this mileage together, and you can't separate them. You can't put a fag paper between them. They're being chased home now, and a lot of distance has been brought back. Zach Purchase and Mark Hunter closing, chased by the Olympic champions, but still the Danes supreme, and a length of open water clear of the field.
Zach Purchase and Mark Hunter for Great Britain take second place. The Poles, the Olympic champions, that's not a bad effort from them to finish in third place, ahead of the French, who come up into fourth, and I think that's a respectable effort from lane 6. And then completing the lineup there, you've got Austria and Slovakia. Well, in fact, Slovakia, France, Austria, that's the way the result is given unofficially. We'll give you confirmation.
It's still coming up. They may change it. But
they may change it, yeah.
France in fourth, Slovakia.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. France are fourth. I thought my eyes didn't deceive me. And then Slovakia ahead of Austria. And I think when you look, we're just waiting for 9.19 seconds for the French. Maybe again they'll take some consolation in that.
I think they could take 6 seconds off that and say they were 3 seconds off the leaders.
Yeah,
perhaps a bit more, but they would have been a lot closer in perfectly fair circumstances.
So Denmark, Rasmussen and Quist,
with 3.5 seconds clear over Great Britain, who are going really well.
I have to say that at the moment, if you were going to put your